Okay, good afternoon. It is Thanksgiving Day 2016 and it's beautiful outside, and I've got to get some maintenance done on my 2005 Yamaha Majesty. The clutch area thingy is kind of acting up and it's trying to engage sooner than it's supposed to, which we all know if you're riding a scooter that can be bad, especially when you're trying to sit still. And I have a new belt if we need to replace that as well, but need at least get in the clutch area, clean it all up, probably needs to be lubed up, etc. So, just want to get a shot of it while still sitting up. I'm going to take shortcuts, and since I've been in there one time to change out the rollers in the variator, I'm going to show you what I did. I'm just going to lay this thing on the ground and do everything from the side, since I don't have a lift or anything, which would be really nice to have one day when I build a garage. I'll get all that, but that day is not today. I have done this before. Nothing bad happens when you lay it on its side. It's got the rollover valve for the fuel tank, so gas does not leak out everywhere. Oil does not go into weird places in the engine. Any of those things you may have heard does not happen. Of course, while we're at it, we're going to be checking the air filter, since I have to take that off as well. But I just want to get a shot of it on the side, and then we will lay it down and start working on it. Okay, here it is laying on the side before we start to tear into it. And yes, I have done this before. I don't know if anyone else has, but I found out the hard way about trying to use something to prop it up, and that's how it landed. And it sat like this for a couple hours, which is about all we're going to need maximum to do this job. So here it is. You have to put down center stand so you can have access to all the little cool everything you got to get to. Like I said, major shortcut. The manual says all kinds of things you don't really need to do, but I've been doing mechanicing work for so many years, it's not funny. Shortcuts are awesome. But here it is looking like this. We're going to start and get all this covers and everything off, and I'll show you what it looks like underneath that. Okay, look at that air filter. Pretty nasty. We're going to blow it out real good. Oh, I can't remember how many thousands of miles I've put on these things. You just got to keep blowing them out. Everyone knows that the Yamaha Majesty is the air filters just pick up everything because they're basically in a bad location, but that's just the nature of how this works. No, I have not done the foam filter mod. I thought about it, but just haven't done it yet. So I'm going to blow this out before it goes back in, but I just want to show you what it looked like right quick. Okay. We're down to the, I forget the technical name for that cover thing, but the plastic stuff's off. Make sure you use the correct screwdriver. It takes a number 2 and a number 3 to get those screws out. So many people will try to use a number 2 and a number 3 screws, strip the heads off, and then you have a whole lot of more fun on your hands to deal with. And as you can see, the extension with the socket sticking out. It takes 8mm to remove all the little screws. Let's see if I can zoom in to show you. That one right there, there's a few of them around, and they're all 8mm. Take those off, and we will be inside the area we need to deal with. This does not take long at all. Okay, all the 8mm are off. There is one more on here I want to point out to you right quick. This one right in the center. That takes a 12mm socket to get off. That's the last one before we can take it off. Okay, there we are. Cover's off. That cover is on pretty snug because it has to sit over the variator and the clutch housing thing stuff. So when you have all the bolts out and you try to pull it off, if it's not coming off, it's because it's been on there a little while. Just gently rasp all the way around it, lightly, with a hammer. That's a piece of aluminum. Be careful with it. Do not break it. But this is the area we're going to be working in right here. If the belt's still good, I'll probably leave it alone, but since I have a new one, I might as well go ahead and change it out. But anyway, we got to get the clutch assembly apart first. Okay, we got the clutch drum off. Slightly glazed. I was in here not, I think it was 3,000 miles ago, And it was pretty dusty in there. Once I cleaned it all up, everything worked great again. And of course, put the new rollers in the variator. Now I broke the nuts loose. Of course, the clutch drum nut is off. As far as just the drum holding it on part. And as you can see, you got that big nut on there. That thing is 46 millimeter. Whew. I just got this one back on loosely, just so we don't lose anything for the moment. I just want to crack this thing loose. We're not going to take it off at this point because of the contra spring in the back there. We'll push the whole thing right in your face. That would be bad. So we're not going to do that. Just break it loose, so then we can take the whole assembly off the scooter and then work on it. Like I said, all I want to do is clean it up, grease it up, do whatever, see what's going on with it, because it's engaging too soon and starts out in too low of a gear, so to speak. Scooter guys know exactly what I'm talking about. When it's doing all that, you got issues with the clutch. So we're going to break that loose with big socket, 3/4 inch drive, which I don't have the tools for that, but happy, adapter here down to 1/2 inch drive. It's supposed to only be 67 foot-pounds of torque, so this setup here will work just fine. If you don't have 46 millimeter, 1 13/16 will fit, and as you can see, that's exactly what I'm using. This entire setup was only $18. I'm not going to use this very often, hopefully, but today I'm going to. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, as you can see, I took the clutch shoe assembly off, and when I called that big spring the contra spring, I can't remember if that's the technical term. I just had to go look at the manual to see about the wear limit on the spring, and I couldn't find any information on it, surprisingly. Wanted to make sure that, it's still good, or does it need to be replaced. Today we don't have one for it. We're going to reuse it regardless, but I can definitely see if that thing was all weak or broken, it would cause a lot of the problems that I'm having, but the spring looks fine. I actually took the clutch shoe assembly off by just pushing down. After I broke the nut loose, I just pushed down around this, and I had my wife take the nut off, and I just gently released the pressure on it while it was still on the scooter. So man, that's a major shortcut right there. I thought this was going to be a little more of a pain in the booty. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take the variator off. It is very important that you put these in the correct way. So please remember how they were taken off. I'm actually using the scooter to hold all kinds of tools and nuts and screws and etc. Kind of crazy, I know, but yeah. Take this baby off. Yeah, I got somewhere. This scooter has just under 16,000 miles on it. I bought it in February with 7,000 miles on it. Yes, I do ride. It is my commuter to and from work, so it is very important to me that it runs good. It works great on the highway, and the Dr. Pulley sliders made a vast difference at first. You talk about getting up into the acceleration range quicker. Very, very big difference over the stock rollers, which I kept. They were not even worn at all, for anyone that's wondering. And that was at 13,000 miles. But this right here just needs to be a little bit cleaned up. Obviously, don't put any grease or anything stupid like that where it can touch the belt. So this will be spotless before we put it back in. But since I was just in there not too long ago, it's in decent shape. I'm going to spray it down with some brake parts cleaner, clean it up really good and sharp before it goes back together. Now, when you take out the variator, everything will fall out if you don't take out the back two parts together. So you can see I've got my hand underneath here, holding everything together. We will take this apart and clean anything out. It needs to be cleaned out, blow everything out with compressed air, etc. Lube everything that needs to be lubed before it all goes back together. But I put in the Dr. Pulley sliders and the little pieces here as well. Like I said, the stock ones were fine, but the shape of those sliders, it really does what it says it's going to do. So that's kind of neat. But we'll leave this together for right now. We'll get back to that. So we're going to put it in the shed where I can keep dirt and debris out of it. And we will also grab another towel. Try to keep your hands as clean as possible. But yeah, as you can see, I don't have a garage, and I'm just doing all this in the backyard. It's a beautiful day. It's like 65 degrees out. This is North Carolina. Gotta love it. So we're able to do this. When I get done with this, this should be like it was before when I first did the sliders. And it was smooth as silk. You couldn't even tell it was a one-cylinder thumper until about 3,500 RPM. And the acceleration was phenomenally better over the stock rollers. But for what I use it for, is just mainly highway. I'm going to take the spring off, noting, of course, which way it goes back on. Simple. Set it on the ground. Up. And yeah. Now, I take the whole thing out together, because that's the only way you can get the belt out anyway. In fact, while we're at it, just to show you what a belt looks like. 16,000 miles to factory belt. Actually looks pretty good. It's supposed to have directional arrows which way it goes on, and of course I don't see any, something like that, unless that is the arrow. I don't know. A little dusty in here because, you know, the belt does wear. In fact, let's put this down. We'll get my calipers, and I'll show you exactly how wide the belt is. Okay, just wanted to show you here what my belt's reading. Got it set metric. Hopefully it's focused on there, but as you can see, it's right at 2.9. Of course, you always check more than one place. Come on now. Boom, 2.902. I mean, this belt is, I'm sorry, it's not 2.9, it's 29. Reading it wrong. 29.0 millimeters. That means there has been 1 millimeter of wear in 16,000 miles. So it's still plenty good if I want to go ahead and reuse it. Let's compare it to a new belt. Okay, standing behind the camera. Now, this is a replacement belt for it. A new belt that I got off of one of the Majesty USA forum members. He traded his scooter in for an Harley Davidson Street 750. Pretty cool little trade for him. Hope he's enjoying it. And as you can see, you know, a new belt is 29.0, which is exactly what the belt I have now is. And there really seems to be no reason to replace it yet. As you can see, it's not cracked or anything on there. That would be a major concern for me. But because I might be going back in here anyway, if what I do today does not fix the problem, I'm going to go ahead and reuse the original belt at this time. And let's go ahead and put these tools up. Okay, standing behind the camera again, so I can show you this. Secondary. So you can see how it works. It just slides up and down these grooves. Well, as you can see, the grease is pretty nasty. That cover barely wanted to come off. This thing was really hard to move. So there's my problem. I'm going to clean this up, re-lube it, and all should be good. Taking care not to get any grease in here where the belt goes. So you can see, like right here, let's say all the way down with the spring totally compressed and everything. Okay, that's your low gear. And of course, one of these little pins just fell out. Oh, the whole thing can come apart. Ah, there we go. Got it. Alright, so we'll take this apart and clean it. But when it's all the way up, like so, that's your high gear. That's true. You know, when it's all the way out like that, that's top speed. You know, top gear, whatever you want to call it, for highway use. So I'm going to clean this all up real nice and pretty. and hopefully everything will be good. And we'll be back. Okay, everything is cleaned up, ready to reassemble. The grease in that secondary sheave was just straight up nasty. I forgot those little pins come out once you take the collar off, which was great because I could take it apart. 2 seals keep the grease in. Both seals still look fine, but the grease was so bad it would not let the pulley come to its furthermost out position, which gives it that top gear that you need when you're on the highway. That would definitely explain why the RPM went up almost 1,000. So we're going to put all this back together, and hopefully it's all going to be just fine. Well, obviously, can't be any worse with everything clean. Oh, by the way, I took the air blower and blew out everything. This thing can get dust in there. It's pretty clean, mostly, but get dusty in there from the clutch shoes and what the wear is from the belt, which, as you saw earlier, we measured. This belt isn't even worn. No cracks or anything. It's not glazed over or anything bad. Being that it's 11 years old, actually almost 12, actually probably is 12, it's in surprisingly good condition. So we'll just keep an eye on it. I'll go back in this thing again, probably in late winter, or unless something else starts to screw up, and check it out. Yep. The first thing I'm going to do is grab the bottom piece that goes in there. Alright, I'll go ahead and show you right quick. Real simple. I can take this off, and you can see the Dr. Poi sliders. They just slightly dusty. I'll wipe them down again. You want to make sure you get some grease on the inside of that shaft. Not to come out anywhere near the sliders. That would be bad. That'll make them stick. But there they are. I used to stock 15 grams. Works just fine. I'm a commuter. If I was drag racing this thing, which you'd be surprised how fast you can come off the line off this thing for guys that don't know. It's my first scooter, 400cc. It's a pretty stout scooter. But anyhow, this goes in upside down. Clean this off with brake cleaner. Make sure there is not one bit of grease on there. Make sure that, there we go. Make sure that can be seen in the video. Yeah. In fact, let's zoom in just a hair to this area. Okay, good. But yeah, make sure nothing comes apart. Like I said, the seals and everything are still good. I'm sure they get around 40,000-50,000 miles. Probably gotta change them out. But right now, everything's fine. Grease on the belt it'll be really bad. Let's just put it that way. Now, you want to put this in first. You're not going to put the top section on until very last because of the belt. Secondary is all cleaned up. You can see some nice fresh grease right here. There's a seal here and the seal on the back side you can't see. Boom. Also check your bearings in here. Bearing feels good. Some people say, oh, that's loose. No, it's just like that until everything is compressed down. And that's why you got to have that nut on there. Holds everything together. Plus, while you're at it, you can look right here and see the output shaft bearing. This is your final drive area. You can see the tire moves one speed, the shaft moves another. Now, let's go ahead and wipe all that grease off. Got a little bit of old grease on the shaft here. Get all the nasty junk off. In fact, we're going to put a little bit more on the roller in here now that I can see it in the sunlight before we slide that back on. Be right back. Okay, put some fresh grease. Not on the shaft itself, but on the roller bearings on the inside of the sheave, and just slid it right down on there, nice and gently. At the same time, you also have to put the belt in. You can see how close it is to the case. That's the only time you're going to get the belt in. So put it in there, make sure everything is sitting in there nice and pretty like. Oh yeah. Look at that. I already slid the collar on here. This collar has the actual seals on it to keep the grease in. So when this is moving up and down, there we go. So it rotates this way to come all the way up so the belt can go down to its lowest position. However, when you're assembling everything, it's going to actually be all the way down so you can get the belt on over here. This is actually extremely simple. I hope I'm describing it okay. I'm not really too good with doing that, but once again I'm going to wipe any remnants of grease off of here. Don't want anything near those clutch shoes. I commute. Clutch, once that clutch grabs, that's pretty much it. I'm not going through town normally, hitting the highway. I've had this thing up to 105 miles an hour on the speedometer, which was 97 miles an hour on the GPS. I will not do that again. That was pretty fast for this small a machine, but yes, it can do it if properly set up. My top end has been diminishing because this thing hasn't been able to go all the way out. And because of just age. The grease gets old. That's why they make new grease. Now, go ahead and put the big old spring, which I never could find the information on. I'm sure somebody out there knows what it is. Hopefully this one's still good. You can see it, boom, it sets right down on there, piece of cake. And here's the clutch housing. Doesn't really get any simpler than this. I'm gonna have to go get my lovely assistant right quick while I push this down and she puts the nut on, and we'll take it from there. Be right back. Okay, back again. As you can see, we got the clutch shoe assembly on there. I just pushed down on it, and my wife started the nut for me all the way down by hand, and then I used the appropriate tool to put it onto 67 foot-pounds. That is what the manual says. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what I did, but I'm pretty sure you can guess what it is. It really doesn't take that much to hold that thing on. It's not like it's going to come off. You got all this other stuff on there that goes on top of that to hold everything in place. But I digress. We have other stuff that goes on there. We have this. Ta-da! Come on, get on there. Straight, drops on. Make sure that, see that? It's all cleaned up, right clean on the inside of that thing. Make sure you try to get all the glazing off the shoes like I did. Basically, it's the same thing as brake shoes on a car. Once it's too glazed, you're going to replace them anyway. But the service limit on the thickness of the clutch shoes material, I believe, is 4 millimeters. This is well within the limit. Probably has something to do with the fact that it stays engaged most of the time because I'm on the highway all the time. It really prolong the life of things. Let me zoom out here right quick, make sure. Okay, you can see it. Now, if you notice, I'm using the back side of the air box to hold the tools, nuts, piece of everything in here. But what you do first, plug the hole right here. You do not want anything going into the intake of the engine. That would be really bad. Take special care not to break the air intake temperature sensor right here. That bad boy right there is complete necessity to let this thing run smooth. I have no idea what a replacement part costs for it, and I do not want to find out, to be honest with you. If I broke it today, the scooter will be down all weekend. It's a holiday weekend. But anyhow, make sure the rest of the parts here are good. Nice and smooth, just like last time. And you can see the little seals on here. That's what's going to seal up against the case. Keep all the dirt, dust, nasties from the outside getting in. And there's also a filter that goes in there and keeps the air clean that does enter this area. Because on the top of the variator, right here, is finned. It moves the air around, helps to cool everything down. Okay, it's that way for a reason. Right here at the bottom is the exit for the air. Air gets sucked in through the filter, blown across the dust and stuff. It's going to come out, but it's going to build up as well. This thing work. So yeah. these here couldn't be easier. Slide that on down nice and gentle like. And there we go. I'll turn to the engine. Make sure that belt is super decent. And this thing is all the way down. When you go to tighten it, you don't want to be pinching that belt. So, I don't want to rotate the engine, but move it back and forth. And I know the belt in here, it seems incredibly loose. The first time I did this, it was kind of, I was like, man, is that really supposed to be like that? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Right now, let's double check something there. Yep. All the way down on the sheave. Wasn't sure. When in doubt, check it twice because I want to get one really good shot to do this the right way. If it's wrong, you're going to know about it. You're going to have a fun time going down the road. And that is not good. Alright. It's right here. Make sure that's cleaned up. It's lightly greased on the inside. Slides right on. Hit two. Has rubber seals there. Make sure they're in good shape. Everything looks fine. Very simple operation. This is actually the first time I took the secondary part. Air compressor. Alright. We'll be right back. Okay, there we are with all the nuts and everything tightened up. It's all ready to go. Rotate that thing around a couple times and the belt sort of tightens up because pulleys start to move in place. When the engine's running, all of that will snap into place like it should. If it doesn't, we'll find out right quick. But I'm going to go ahead and put all this back together. Assembly is straightforward. Make sure everything's clean when you put it back on, like that dirty air filter and all that. I'm just going to clean it as I go. This shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. Air tools really help. Make sure you get the bolts torqued down properly. Those small 8mm bolts, I believe they only take like 14 foot-pounds. It does not take much. You can break them pretty easy. Don't do that. We'll be back. Okay, and just to show the case piece, there's the actual filter for the CVT area. Okay, as you can see, it's not the worst. I blew it out. They seem to fare better than the actual air filters. Kind of crazy how they design this stuff, but hey, it works. It's one of those things you got to deal with. Very simple. Very simple. Dropped in place. Put the screws in, and we'll be done with that. Okay, and here we are, back together for the moment of truth. Let's fire it up and see what the clutch starts to grab at, what RPM this time. This thing always fires right up. Be true to your word, baby. Come on. Alright. I'm going to hold the rear brake and grab the engine up and see what RPM is. Right at near 4,000, which is what it should be. Well, that's what it was when I did all the work on it last time. Okay, and for those of you wondering, let me go ahead and zoom in. Oh, yes, my scooter is dark-sided. That was one of the best mods I've done on this thing yet. So much smoother, so much better, but that's not what this video is about. Well, the battery's getting ready to die on this, and it did. Okay, battery died on me when I was trying to tell you I was going to go on a test ride and whatnot. and it's all back together. Runs good. Runs great. Love this scooter. First one ever. Probably won't be my last one. Really enjoy this thing. Took it out for a test ride, and wish I would have had the GoPro on. The guy in that Harley was pretty surprised. He had to save face to make sure he stayed ahead of me. I took it up to 90 on the speedometer. You know, the speedometer that goes to 120. This one won't do that. But so much smoother. 60 miles an hour on the speedometer is now 5,000 RPM like it should be. And 70 is 5,400, just like it used to be. So it's back to the way it was. So that was all worth it. Hopefully this video helped someone. And if you need any more detail, just feel free to ask. Next is going to be putting a new rear tire on the old VTX 1800 there. That's a beast. But that'll be a video for another time. Take care.